Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Taylor and I'm a hobby runner and a run coach. Today I want to talk to you about the 5 biggest marathon mistakes that I made in my latest training block. Because yes, even though this is my third marathon, I still have a lot to figure out. The marathon is such a challenging distance and every training cycle teaches you something new. And before I get into it, I just want to say that everyone is different. So, what works for me isn't going to work for other people. What works for other people isn't going to work for me. Your training is always going to depend on what your body can handle, what you've done in the past in terms of fitness, if you've done a ton of cross training or activities that are close to running, what other races you've done, and what fits into your life. So, this isn't about being perfect, it's about learning. So, here are my 5 biggest training mistakes, and stay tuned for the last one because it's definitely the one that affected me the most. My first mistake was I had too many run days and too many workout days. I love running, so it's easy for me to just keep saying yes to running more, but running 6 days a week and alternating between 3 workout weeks and 2 workout weeks just felt like way too much on my body. And at times I started to feel like I was dreading running, especially closer to the end of the block. I remember thinking that I needed to do this workout in order to hit my race goal, but what I didn't take into consideration is taking a little bit more time to rest and let the training absorb before I just kept pushing myself. What I really needed to do was slow down and stack bricks day by day instead of just rushing fitness. Marathon fitness isn't built in one heroic week, it's built over months or years of consistent, repeatable training. And I just kept trying to force progress instead of letting it come naturally. My second mistake was skipping cross training and strength training days. I always tell other people to do it, but honestly, I didn't prioritize it as much as I should have. And it showed up to bite me in the second half of the marathon. Throughout the training block, I felt like I just needed to keep running to build fitness, which is definitely the truth in some sense. But if I took one running day out and did some kind of cross training, I still would have been able to build aerobic fitness without having that constant impact on my body. Strength training definitely makes you more resilient in the later miles when everything starts to break down, which I absolutely felt at the halfway point. I felt like I had the aerobic capacity, but my legs felt sluggish and weak when it mattered the most. My third mistake, I didn't race enough during this block. I just kept my head down and trained, but I didn't give myself enough time to actually test my fitness. I kept trying to test my fitness in workouts, which was almost more detrimental to my training since it took longer to recover from mediocre efforts rather than just signing up for a race and getting the physiological and mental benefits from testing my fitness. Races are definitely rehearsals and they teach you pacing in real time, how to manage nerves, how your legs feel at different effort levels, and what strategies actually work. Without tune-up races, Marathon Day becomes the first test, and that's a tough place to experiment, especially since we shouldn't try anything new on race day. My fourth mistake was obsessing over paces rather than just seeing how I felt. Every single workout, I wanted the watch to tell me I was on track because I felt like that would help me build confidence. This was my first time training for a really big race, especially in the summertime. And while I understood the need to slow down in the heat, since I tell that to my clients all the time, I felt like I was just too close to the situation and I couldn't separate that for myself. The marathon doesn't really care about your perfect splits. It's the effort what matters. When you ignore how your body feels, you can push too hard too early or even start to panic when the pace feels different than how it should feel. Learning effort-based training is one of the best things that you can do for long distance running. My fifth mistake, and honestly my biggest one, was not training my mindset. I trained my legs, I trained my lungs, and I trained my mileage, but I didn't train my mind. When I first started the marathon block, I also started my run coaching business and I launched my YouTube all within the same month. Looking back, that was a lot to do in 1 month. And without realizing it, I started to feel like I had something to prove. And not just to myself, but to other people. I wasn't training for the race anymore. I was putting my life, my goals, and my progress out there to be judged. and that pressure started to bleed into my training. Right before the marathon, I started therapy because everything felt overwhelming. The training, the expectations, the comparison, it all piled up. And I didn't give myself the tools to mentally process that during the build. When you don't train your mindset, the marathon magnifies everything you've been avoiding. Doubt gets louder, pressure feels heavier, and every hard mile feels like you're being personally victimized by the marathon. But the flip side is this: going through that made me more resilient. I learned how to separate my worth from my performance, how to show up for myself instead of proving something to others, and how to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. And now I understand that mindset training isn't necessarily optional. It's part of the work. And just like long runs and workouts, I'm a stronger runner and person for it. So those are my 5 biggest marathon training mistakes. Again, everyone's training is going to look a little bit different. Everyone's journey is also going to look a little bit different. What works for you might not work for others, and that's okay. This is my 3rd marathon, and I definitely still feel like a beginner in this distance. And again, that's okay. It's a tough distance to conquer, and that's what makes it so special. It challenges you, it humbles you, and you learn something new every single time. So if you've made any of these mistakes too, you're not alone. And if you're training for a marathon right now, please drop a comment. I love to hear what you're working on, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.